Hi everyone, and welcome to Apprenticeish, where we talk all about apprentices, apprenticeships, kind of. All of the questions, sections, timestamps, IP addresses. I'm kidding. They will all be in the description below, so if you want to skip around the video, then go for it. But without further ado, let's get right into the video. Okay, so the first question is, where can I find apprenticeships? I have one video on YouTube. So the video will be in one of the iCards, but in essence, you can find them in so many places. You can find them on employers' websites, you can find them on the government website, you can find them on UCAS, you can find them on the training providers website. So for example, the university or the college. Do check that video out. I think I've included links in that as well, so that might be a little bit more helpful. How competitive are apprenticeships? Very is the answer. The visibility of apprentices and apprenticeships have increased. It doesn't obviously mean, but more people are aware of them, more people are applying to both university and to do an apprenticeship, or to do an apprenticeship and not do the traditional route, which would be A-levels or GCSEs. People are now taking T-levels now, which is something new. As time goes on, they'll just become more competitive. It's the same with uni, as time goes on, uni becomes a bit more competitive. So how can I stand out from other applicants? The first way is to watch the 3-part series that I've put out, so you actually know what's going on in the application process. So I have a 3-part video series on degree apprenticeships, specifically non-degree apprenticeships that I've applied for. Is very simple. You literally you make an application, you go to the interview, you have a conversation, an interview. That was it, basically. Whereas the degree apprenticeship process was so different in pretty much every company, from the apprentices that I spoke to. Outside of that video series, I'd probably say one of the great ways to stand out is to make sure that your application makes sense. Make sure you include something quite niche about the firm in your application. So if you can see that they are very specific on medical technology, then it might be worth including what got you interested in medical technology, including an article or a book that you've read or something like that. Something very specific about, very niche topic that shows how you developed your interest in that area. When you get to the interview stage, outside of the application, is to allow your character to really shine, but also manners as well, politeness. You'll be surprised, especially when the environment gets competitive. You're in a group interview, not a group interview, but you're a team exercise, and suddenly characters that weren't there 2 minutes ago start to pop out. Basic manners and team working skills is so important. So I'd probably say those would be the things that I would suggest. The next section is about the actual apprenticeship itself. How does the workload compare with doing uni than an apprenticeship? Personally, I've made actually a video about comparing university and apprenticeships, which you can find in the iCards, but I'm currently in my 3rd year. Towards the end, I'm in my final module. As the course develops, changes, and progresses, I am finding that the apprenticeship is more intense than normal university. You are not only working, but you're working towards an objective. The apprenticeship that I'm doing, because the apprenticeships are quite different, you are studying one module at a time. You're not doing 10,000 modules at once. And in that way, it is very helpful. But in the same breath, you have work to do, and that comes with its own stresses and its own complex intricacies that I think make it more arduous than doing a normal uni degree. It's extremely intense to work during the day and then go to uni in the evening, and then basically find time on the weekend to study, write essays, etc. That is mentally and physically arduous. An apprenticeship, if this makes sense, is harder than going to normal uni and then working, if that makes sense. My apprenticeship is in between working and studying full-time, so that is going to evening uni and working during the day, but it's harder, in my opinion, than being a full-time student and then doing work afterwards, a training period afterwards in your chosen career. How can I find out if I'll enjoy the 6-year program apprenticeship before beginning? So this person was asking specifically about the solicitor apprenticeship. Well, it's 5.5 to 7-year program. There's no real way to know if you'll enjoy the program before you get onto it. There are different things that you can do to like test that area. You never know if you'll actually like to work there or work in that industry, because studying a topic, working in the industry that you studied about, and like, you know, hearing about it or watching it are 3 very different experiences. Do a shorter apprenticeship before you do a long-term apprenticeship, then you'll know whether or not you actually like the industry or actually like studying about the topic, or actually like the learning style over a shorter period of time compared to a longer period of time, because, you know, 6 years is a very long time. There are shorter apprenticeships, degree apprenticeships as well. So I think the shortest apprenticeship you can get is either 12 or 15 months. Actually working in the industry that you want to go to, actually going to like classes, master classes. You can do that whilst you're in A-levels. Find out more about the academic side of studying that topic, because remember, you'll still need to go to university. That's what I would say. Because you've done an apprenticeship previously, do you feel like you're doing the same things? Absolutely that. Number one, I'm working at a completely different firm. They do things differently. Their processes and systems are different. How they record things and how they draft things and their drafting style and, you know, how they just behave as an organization is so different. There's knowledge that's transferable. So for example, in law, whenever a client comes to instruct you, or in order for someone to become a client, you would always need to draft a client care letter. Also, because I'm at this firm doing a high level apprenticeship, the type of work that they're asking me to do is more advanced and more complex. And also they're completely different areas of law. So yeah, for me personally, I do not feel like I'm doing the same thing. However, there are skills I have been able to transfer over. So like balancing studying and working at the same time, how I've managed like my mental health, social life, all that kind of stuff. I've kind of been able to lean on my previous experience to know how to kind of like navigate, understand this experience. So yeah. Do I feel like it was a huge jump doing the apprenticeship? Either the huge jump could either be from A-levels to doing a degree apprenticeship, or from doing another apprenticeship to doing this apprenticeship. I went from A-levels to, I worked for like 6 months, and then I did a business admin apprenticeship in a law firm. I think literally just understanding the corporate landscape and how people behave and operate in a office environment was beyond me. I have learned so much through that experience. I don't know if I really could have prepared for it except for being in it, even though I had done like legal work experience elsewhere prior to starting my first apprenticeship. Actually working that and doing work experience, you get 2 different kinds of exposure to characters, people's personalities, behaviors, policies, and just like the general vibe in the office is different if you're doing work experience compared to you know, if you're doing actual work. But when I came around to doing my degree apprenticeship, because I had been working 2 years at like a few different places by that time, I kind of had I had everything under the belt, but a lot less things surprised me and shocked me about, you know, coming to law and work and boundaries and expectations. How different are apprenticeship programs? Very. Even some of the solicitor apprentices that I talk to who are not at my firm or not with the same university provider, so different. I'm like surprised. And even just like apprenticeships generally. So I was talking to another degree apprentice and she has to go into university, which is shocking. I think someone else as well, I was watching a video and they have to go into uni 3 weeks in the year. Yeah, I literally go in one day in the whole year. Apprenticeship programs are very, very, very different. The next section is social life. Decided to walk outside so that y'all can see views, have a different background. What is my social life like? And in all honesty, my social life is actually pretty good. Everything so far seems to be okay. I have missed 3 weddings in total, I would say, in like the last 2 months. One was literally the day before my exam and it was outside of London. Wasn't sure about the internet connection for the exam. I was like, I'm not about to risk that. I thought the other 2 reasons why I couldn't go, but honestly, outside of that, I haven't really missed anything that I've been invited to or that I'm aware of. So yeah, my social life is fine. I go out when I want. As you can see, I'm not in the UK, so having said that, this is the first time I've gone since pre-panorama. I mean, during the panorama, obviously not as much. Post-panorama, there was probably too much social life happening. But yeah, I think after a while you kind of find a balance. Easy for me to make friends at your age. This is an excellent question, because obviously if you're an apprentice, you're around a lot more adults and you don't really have as much time to engage with people your age. I'd probably say no, but by choice. There are many opportunities, I think, for me to have gone to meet other apprentices or build meaningful relationships. Like, I could have messaged people on, if I wanted to, I could probably message people on LinkedIn at the summer school, you know, make friends during the summer school. I could have gone to the Big Apprentice meetup, probably put more effort into the relationships that I made as being a part of like an ambassador in the Not Going to Uni scheme section area too. And also there are like different societies that you can be, like, you're still a student at the university, so you can be a part of like different groups and societies. The next section is moving. Did I move out to do my apprenticeship? Also, sorry guys, so out of breath here. Actually can't even move for the apprenticeship. The answer is no, I didn't, but I was willing to move, in all honesty. Like, yeah, I wanted the apprenticeship a lot. I was applying to apprenticeships that were outside of London, that were in different boroughs. That one of the requirements, I think, for one or two of the apprenticeships that I applied for, well, it wasn't a requirement, but I think it was preferred, was that if you lived in the borough there, then you're more likely to get it, because, I don't know, maybe they're reinvesting back into the community. Listen, I was willing to move. Saying a lot for a very one-word answer. The salary, allow it. Now, the apprenticeship salary is a very controversial topic, in my opinion. It really depends on obviously how much they pay you, because it's very likely that the higher your level for the apprenticeship that you're studying at, the more they're likely to pay you. Depends on where you live and like what kind of lifestyle you want to live. London is very, very expensive. To be fair, this cost of living crisis has really increased everything. So rent is like around, I should make a whole video about this, but I'm just giving rough figures. Rent can be anywhere between, I'd probably say 650 to 1.5k alone, or including bills if you're living in shared accommodation. Shared accommodation can be with other professionals, other students, like it depends on like the kind of lifestyle that you want to live. And then also there's the other part of that, like the social life in London is astronomical. I don't know is my answer. So the final question is, would I recommend moving for an apprenticeship? It depends on who you are and like what your natural inclinations and propensities are, and that sounds like such a highfalutin answer in a way of me not really answering the question, but the reality is, like, the apprenticeship can be extremely demanding, and at some times, especially if you're the only apprentice in your company, you might find it quite isolating. I'm very grateful for the community that I have, however not everyone has that, and I think if you move, there's a number of different factors you need to consider outside of finances. Even it's very likely you're able to make it work, but as I say, like, it really does depend on who you are and like how you operate as a person, because if you really do need community, sometimes this course can get very intense. Maybe you have the salary though to like frequently go back home and visit your family. So if it was someone like myself, I would say yes, you can run like the wind. Anyway, yeah, I'm now out of breath. Okay, we're back to where we started. I just walked in a circle, and I don't know what time it is, but I kind of want to go to the store, so I will. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed the scenery as much as I have, and yeah, I guess I will see you in the next video. Apprenticeships out.